cooking inside you? Well then, give us a call and you could be a guest chef on the show Soup to Nuts. That's right, you could be sharing your gastronomic creations with all of us. So give us a call at 881-1653. Or if that's busy, then give us a call at 881-2189. That's right, you could be a guest chef on Soup to Nuts.
Hi, welcome to Soup to Nuts. My name is Brian Arusi. I'm here with my father, Oswald Arusi. Tonight we're going to be cooking capelletti soup, and my father's going to lead us through that whole process, and he'll be discussing what it is and how it's made. So here he is.
Thank you, Brian. Before I start, I promised my wife and my daughters and my sons that I would have Brian do something he hasn't done. He's only done it twice. I think once we graduated from high school, once we graduated from college. That is a smile to show those beautiful teeth that I had to do that. All right, on a serious note, we start off, I'd like to show you what this soup looks like here.
Why don't you explain what it is first? Since
Well, we're going to have capelletti soup.
but they might not know what capelletti soup is.
Well, they see it as I go along, Brian. Am I doing the talking?
Go ahead.
Anyway, first of all, to begin the recipe, you have to have a good soup made, right? So here we have, what I used here is about a 6 or 7 pound oven stuffer roaster. And I used that in a bigger pot than this because it wouldn't all fit in here. So we take the boiling water, enough to cover the oven stuffer roaster. And what you do for the first half hour, it requires a little work. If people that have cooked soup before will know what I'm talking about. Because what happens when you put the chicken into the boiling water, we Italians call it a schiuma. It's better known here as the froth. So you have to take that froth off every 5 minutes or so until the broth becomes clear. Once it's clear, you add the other ingredients, which are maybe 3 nice onions, and you notice that the onion still has some of the outer covering on, which Brian taught me about that many years ago, and 3 or 4 stalks of celery, 1 carrot for a little flavor, 1 tomato to give a little color, a little salt and pepper. And what you got to do with this soup is you got to cook it the way my mother would tell me to cook it. She would say, Osvaldo. That's Italian for Oswald. She would say, when you cook the soup, do the cook it piano, 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 per sapore. To get the most flavor out of it, you cook it slow. And she would say to me, se fa piano, tu sta sano e va lontano, which translated into English means if you cook it slowly, you become very healthy by drinking this and eating this soup, and you live a long, long, long life. I cooked this soup almost 4 hours. After the initial half hour of taking the froth off on boiling it, I turned it down to just a little simmer, and for 4 hours, 3.5 hours more, this is the way it came out. If you notice it, it's like jello, which means it's extracted all there is to be extracted from the skin. I leave the skin on because the fat from that will come to the top. The skin gives it flavor, and the bones give it that nice gelatin look. That's a nice soup. Now, to begin with, Brian's going to start by making the dough for the capellettis. And Brian, that's what we're making. We're making capelletti soup tonight. So Brian, take this, do what you got to do there. And while Brian's doing that, I can start making the filling for the capellettis. And the fillings consist of the breast from this oven stuffer roaster. If you notice it, it's a beautiful, beautiful breast. With that, we just cut it down. And this recipe, by the way, originated, I would say, during the Depression years, because during the Depression, as a lot of people know that lived through it, there wasn't much money to begin with. Most people were out of work. So what you had to do as a parent was to use a lot of strength and imagination and know-how to make these recipes so that you can satisfy your children. The children don't realize or don't care about a depression. All they're interested in is what's for supper. So this is something my mother would make during the Depression years. We always had flour at the house. A lot of us had our own chicken coops, which meant we had our eggs and the chickens. So she would make this cup-letter soup. I have many, many grandchildren, and I visited one this past weekend. I spent the evening, my wife and I, and she was saying to me, "Grampy, could you make some more of that soup with the little hats?" That's what cup-letter means, little hat. Oh, by the way, before I continue, I forgot my hat. I'm wearing this hat because, as you can see, I'm proud to be Italian. And we all should be proud of any of our nationalities, whether it's Norwegian, like my cameraman is Norwegian, he's very proud to be a Norwegian, or whatever you are, you should be proud of it. But foremost, you should be proud of being an American, and that's what we all are. I'm very proud to be an American, but I'm also proud to be an Italian. Another reason I'm having the hat on, as I told you in the first show, my mother insisted on clean hands, which I washed before the program, an apron, and something to cover your head in the event that you might lose some of those strands of hair into the recipe. Are you coming, Brian?
Good.
Almost ready for, no, a little more. And people probably gonna ask me, you know, I don't measure things, and neither did my mother. She would say to me two things. She would say to me, first of all, in a broken English and Italian, she would say, and I translate for her as I was a little youngster. She would say to me, "When you cook, hai bisogno di usare il cervello." And I would say to her, Mama, you mean when you cook, you have to use a lot of common sense? That's it, my figlio di mamma, my son. I said, great. And then she would say to me, after you watch me tante volte, and I teach you, dopo, tu mi fa soltanto te. You mean, Mama, you mean that once I learn how to do all these recipes and under your tutelage, that I can say someday that I know what I'm doing, I feel confident, and the other half is just put into effect what you know, and do it. She said, that's right, my son, you're right. That's it. Are you coming?
I'm all ready. Waiting for you as usual.
Brian, this takes time, and I just can't rush this recipe because people probably ask me, how much chicken does he have there? Because I want to make this, so how much chicken does he have? I don't know. I would say maybe 3 cups, probably. Don't have to chop it too fine because when you mash it after, it becomes nice and soft, nice and pasty. You smell that? Oh. She would say, delicioso, delicious. Put this back here. All right, just wipe this off a little bit. And Brian just about done with his dough. Brian, I'll take that over here if you want. Give me that bowl of flour.
Need more in there.
I'm gonna put some more in for me. And when you make this, you have to have a lot of flour. As you see right now, it's not quite there yet. It's got to be much thicker than this. So we go like this. But what you don't want to do is put too much flour in there. Then what you have is pastry dough, and it's not good.
The way you start the dough is I beat it 4 eggs up, and then you slowly sift in the flour with a big spoon until it gets at the point that it is right now, which is ready. It really doesn't, you can't stir it with a spoon anymore, so now it's time to knead it with your hands.
That's good, Brian. So we got here, when I used to make it with my mother, we used to make it like this. We used to make a well with a lot of flour on it. We beat 3-4 eggs in it, and the well would be maybe 3-4 inches around. Beat the eggs and slowly takes the flour into the well till you get the consistency you want it, which is almost like this. So what you do is mix it, and then you knead it for a while. And don't be afraid to use the flour. As you can see, it's flying all over the place here. And after a while, you can feel that the consistency you want is almost there. Another minute or so, we'll be all set here. My mother would do this up until about her 75th or 76th birthday. Then she fell and broke the wrist, this left-hand wrist, which you need for kneading. So whenever she made this, she would say, she would let me know that she was going to make it, and I'd go over and I'd knead it for her. All right, we won't waste more time on that. So we do now, we take this and we put it in a dish with a little olive oil in it. Wax paper and refrigerator.
Okay, right now we're going to put
Wait a
this.
minute. We're gonna make the filling brine for this yet.
All right.
This flour I'll use later on when we make the tortillas. So now for the filling. You get that dish? Can it beat a dish for an egg? No, huh? That's what I'll do it right here.
Watch this slide. You should tell them how much they're going to, first question they're going to ask is how long do you need it?
How long you need it? Until you feel that the consistency you want. It's got to be
Which is not too,
not too wet and not too dry. You can feel, you can tell. You got to be able to work it a little more after. So I take 1 egg and maybe half an egg out.
tell them why I'm putting the eggs in there.
Why don't you tell him? He's smiling, look at him. I did it. Why you put the egg in? Tell him.
So it congeals it all together.
Ah,
I think that's what you told me. A few years
that's
ago.
it. Now we got that eggs in there. Comes a little breadcrumbs to hold together, and that's about 1/3 cup. And we got to have some of this beautiful, freshly grated cheese, probably about the same amount. Smell delicious. We have salt and pepper somewhere? I don't know if you have it here or not, but if you don't,
Yeah, add salt and pepper to it
we'll add salt and pepper to it.
before we make them.
And then we got to use something that gives it the flavor. Nutmeg. You don't use too much of it because it's very strong. If you use nutmeg, buy a good brand. Don't buy the ones you buy for 99 cents. There's about 4 or 5 times as big as that. They're no good. So you use a good brand. That's it. That will give it a nice flavor. And what you got to do now is use the tools that were given to you, naming your hands. And you squeeze this. That's it. And you see that texture there? You have to work that after. So when you make the filling, when you start stuffing the cuplettis, this is almost ready. You don't want to work it too much. And those pieces of chicken, they were good sized pieces. When you squeeze it like this, they break apart. We are ready to take this and refrigerate it. This phase of it is done.
So now we're going to refrigerate it and let it congeal a little bit, get it cool, and when we come back, we're going to show you how to roll the dough out and actually put together the capellettis. So
Smile first, will you?
We'll be right back.
Thousands of women will lose a child to AIDS simply because they didn't get an HIV test when they were pregnant. You see, there's now treatment that can help stop the spread of HIV from mother to baby, which gives children of HIV-infected mothers something they never had before. A chance. If you're pregnant, please get an HIV test.
Is there a gourmet chef looking inside you? Well then, give us a call and you could be a guest chef on the show Soup to Nuts. That's right, you could be sharing your gastronomic creations with all of us.
At least the own that she gave to me. What you do on that dough we made, you just cut a piece off. Always flour. Pat it down.
Cut it about 1/4 inch thick.
1 inch thick.
1/4 inch thick width on the when you're cutting the dough, and then you pat it out.
One time. Two.
The machine has different settings, obviously, to make the dough roll out wider and wider. Just the space gets smaller and smaller. You don't want to roll it out too thin because then they might break open when you're folding them.
There it is. Always a lot of flour in the bottom. When my mother made this, she used to make it on a board like this with a rolling pin and just roll it out. Didn't have these so-called
So if you don't have a machine, you can roll it out.
roll it out like you do a pie dough. Cut in pieces. You start filling, Brian.
So all you want to do when you fill these is take a clump in your hand and just break it off and put it in. A little round mound in there. You don't want to put too much because it won't fit in there and the dough will rip. Tell them how you cut.
This is the part I like the best making because this, when you get to this stage of it, it's almost time to sit down and enjoy them. And I'll show you how to fold them over. That's the problem that a lot of people have. As a matter of fact, my daughter Susan called me up about 3 weeks ago, and she was making cuplettis with a friend of hers, and she couldn't get the fold. All you do is just take from corner to corner, fold them over, press them. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Little hat.
Let's roll that camera right here is a better angle.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There it is. Just a matter of making them, doing them. Like I said, it's the part I enjoy the most because not only is the fact we're going to be having them a little while, but if I'm home by myself making them, it takes maybe about maybe an hour to make them all. I practice my wife and I do a lot of dancing. And with this setup here, I go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Anybody that dances knows that's the old cha-cha step. So when I'm doing this, I'll be practicing my 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, 1, 2. So it's very easy. Fold them over.
Tell them how you cut the dough down the middle. Cut the 2 ends off, and then you didn't really explain it. You have to roll out one more piece.
Want me to explain it? All right, I'll show the next piece. Take care of these. I can practice my dance after. You spread it around. Spread it so it's about 4 inches or so.
Show it for the camera behind you.
Oh.
So they can see it.
Put it through.
Then we put these in little flats with wax paper and some flour. Let them sit out, or you can rip a paper bag, which we usually do, and do the same thing, put some flour on it. Let them get a little firm before you put them into the water.
Tell me what you and I did last night. We made some last night, did we? Remember you told me you want to make some to
Yeah, we made some last night.
we made about 80 of them last night. Because Brian wanted them from Suffolk, I guess, and also for... That look nice?
All right, now explain when you cut it.
See, this doesn't protrude out. It's almost square. So I have to worry. If that was sticking out like this, I cut that first piece off. But now where it's just about square, I just go right down the middle. It's the last one, Brian. We got to get this done because I'm getting hungry.
Yep.
You fill these. It's nice. It's a nice feel when you're doing these at home. If you have a family, your little children can help you to make them because they enjoy doing this, cooking and helping their parents. I think back of those Depression years, and they were, for the parents, they were real bad years because, like I said, it was tough times. But for as a child, those were probably, for me, one of the most memorable and best times of my life because we were together as a family. We did everything together. There was no TV back then. We didn't have a radio. In the evening, we sit by the old black coal stove, sit there by the oven with our feet up on the little shelf used to have there. My mother would be knitting, telling us stories. Always a story with a lesson behind it. I enjoyed it. It's almost like comparing to the last blizzard we had. Remember the last blizzard we had? Everybody gets excited. They're saying, oh, the blizzard. No work. No school. But the first thing you got to do is go to the grocery store to make sure you have enough food for that day or 2 or 3, depending on how severe the storm is. But you know the feeling you get when you're saying, oh, we're home. Nothing's moving on the outside. We're cozy. We're with our family. We're cooking probably. That's the feeling I had when I was growing up back in those so-called dreadful Depression years. I learned, in those years, I learned a lot of things from my mother, which carry on through my life. And I gotta say, I enjoyed those years. They were tough, but it was family, always together. Like I'm doing tonight with my number 7 son here. You want to smile for him? Ryan and I do a lot of cooking together.
Especially when it snows.
We love it.
But everybody wants to eat ours. I don't understand that, though. They don't like to put the work, but they sure like to eat
My
it.
daughter Susan called me up, I was saying, about 3 weeks ago, and she was making these, and she couldn't get the shape of that. She has a beautiful head. Couldn't get the shape. She was getting them, it was all like a ball. So I went down, and she had some friends who were going to be making capelletti soup. She made the broth, the soup. She used some boneless chicken breast to make the soup, and she used boneless chicken breast to make the filling. But if you make boneless chicken breast into soup, you cook for a while, it comes out, it's just like it's dry, nothing to it. So I had to do something with the filling for her to help her out. But in the dough, I showed her the 1, 2, cha-cha-cha step. It was easy. It's beautiful.
All right, we're done.
You're done. You're
We're
cooking.
Yeah, we're gonna boil them up now. So that's the process. We're gonna let them get a little firm before we put them in the water. When we come back, we're gonna show you them finished product. We'll be right back.
Is there a gourmet chef looking inside you? Well then, give us a call and you could be a guest chef on the show, Soup to Nuts. That's right, you could be sharing your gastronomic creations with all of us. So give us a call at 881-1653. Or if that's busy, then give us a call at 881-2189. That's right, you could be a guest chef on Soup to Nuts.
Welcome back. We're just about ready to show you the finished product. I'm gonna take it out of the boiling water and add it to the broth.
How long did you cook that, Brian?
Usually cook it about between 10 and 12 minutes. Once it comes back to a boil, don't start timing until it comes back to a boil. I'm gonna strain it now.
Take your time. Want to put it here? You put the soup into it.
Yeah, we'll put it in this bowl, then we'll add the broth.
I can add some of these chicken we have left over, and some carrots. Brian, you can put that broth in here. Piano, piano. Slow, slow. More.
Good?
That's good. Give me this spoon over there. This is what they call capelletti soup. We can just put a little cheese in there, right, Brian?
Yeah, good amount.
Look at that. That look nice?
Okay. That's a capelletti soup. Next time there's a snowstorm, which I hear it's coming soon, go to the grocery store and try it.
Smile.
And don't be afraid to try something different. That's the key. And have fun. Get your kids involved and have fun. And the best part is coming up when you get to eat it.
I see one thing?
I will say one thing before we leave. Say hello to people down at the Ashland Gym, which I'm going down to give some of the leftovers to. I promised somebody down there, the owner. So I'd like to say hi to them.
One thing I have to say. There's an Italian saying that goes like this. When you sit down to eat a good meal with family and friends, the aging process stops. So I'm in the process of going over and having something to eat because I'm getting old lately. I want to stop this here. The aging process stops. Arrivederci.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Is there a gourmet chef looking inside you? Well then, give us a call and you could be a guest chef on the show, Soup to Nuts. That's right, you could be sharing your gastronomic creations with all of us. So give us a call at 881-1653.